Victor and Driggs in Teton Valley, there's about 5 breweries, a distillery, and even a cider house, and I thought it was finally time to go check all these out. I've been to Jackson Hole many times. I've been to all the breweries, Melvin, Roadhouse, Snake River, Stillwest, and I've had plenty of good times over there, but I figured it was time to get on the other side of the Tetons and check it out. So I enjoyed Jackson Hole, caught up with some friends, did some camping, and decided to go over the mountains with none other than my mom, who hasn't had a drop of alcohol since the 1900s. So it was the perfect person to go with. We started at the distillery and was hoping to talk to as many people as possible, and did get to drop in on some brewers, as you'll see, and even found some root beer for my mom to enjoy. So here's the good day as it unfolds.
Of course the one you filmed.
Well, thanks for having us in Grand Teton Brewing.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Nice to be here with you.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of beers poured for us here.
Yeah, it's solid beer. It's made with all Idaho ingredients.
Okay.
The barley is grown in Pocatello. It comes up here, it's in our main silo, and then all the hops we use are also grown in Idaho. So it's Idaho's beer, and we've been super proud to be making it for several years.
One interesting thing I learned is you guys are responsible for the glass growler. You invented the glass growler.
That was something I learned moving here too.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
I just learned it looking up the site. I was like, oh, I guess that had to come from somewhere. So they took the tin growler from Germany, which looks like not a great container.
No, it kind of looks like something you'd make stew in. I think we have one sitting over there on the wall. We can grab it.
Okay, we'll patch some of that in there.
Yeah.
And has the beer scene been growing here in Teton Valley?
I think so, even just from my short time being here. In the Teton Valley, Idaho and Victor, we have a new tap house that's gone in that is just a craft beer bar more than anything. They have rotating taps and about 12 of them. They're always changing.
Oh, cool.
That's called Refuge. They make really good decisions on what to bring in and what to pour, and I don't know how he gets some of the beer he does, but it's impressive. And then we've had more growing. Guidepost is going in Victor as well. They're almost done with their building, and their brew house just got here.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, a lot of craft beer, and I still see it continuing to grow. Cheers. I think we've achieved that.
Smells great.
That's one thing I do like about hazy beers is everyone smells something a little bit different. Like they all find their own little tropical fruit. Like more or less it's the same base beer we've been doing for the last 2 years. Some things have changed, but we got to change the hops, and it really creates a whole new beer. Okay.
So now we'll jump to the perfect summer beer, in my opinion.
Cheers.
Cheers to stouts in the summer.
Proud of it when I drink it. It's a good, like, my après beer after skiing in the winter. This is probably like my go-to.
Yeah. Are all these beers canned and bottled? The ones that we're drinking right now?
Yes. Yep, every single one of them you should be able to get within our distribution network, which is all of Idaho, good portion of Montana, parts of Wyoming, most of Utah, and I think a bit of Washington. It's worth a visit. It's worth taking time getting off the highway and zipping over to Victor and Driggs and seeing what we can do here.
Well, thanks for having us here in Teton Valley.
Nice to meet you, Kenny.
Good to meet you too. Yeah, usually I do beer, but cider is very close, and like I was telling you, everyone in Jackson just loves High Point, so I had to come here for myself.
Oh, that makes me super happy. Yeah, I mean, I think my brother and I, in starting the company, we always wanted to position our products more as a craft beer alternative than a wine. So looking at the different types of yeast strains that we would use and just kind of the flavor profiles that we would go after. Positioning High Point more as a craft beer alternative than a wine. Everything we do is unfiltered, so you'll see all these ciders have a little bit of haze in them.
Nothing wrong with that.
And so this one comes in at about 7% ABV, 0 residual sugar. It's just a really nice, crisp, easy drinking dry cider.
Cool. Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings me back to Connecticut, going to apple picking and
So I'm seeing a trend already. I don't know if it'll continue, but nomad, transplant, like, have you done some traveling yourself? Or?
A little bit. I think that's, one of the things that I would like to do more in my life is really get out and, so kind of following along with your story and seeing how you've just kind of like bopped from place to place and then, made a way to like continue your travels by creating content is really awesome. After moving out here, just saw that there wasn't a ton going on cider-wise across the West, and especially in the Mountain West. And coming from Boston and New England, seeing all the great options that consumers had as far as cider back east, it was like, I think someone needs to bring some cool cider to the Mountain West. This is the Tram Line. This is that dry hop cider. Really focuses on pairing like the flavor profile of a hop strain like Mosaic hops with a nice juicy profile that we get from our blend of apples. And so when we were coming up with the recipe, went through probably 25 or 30 different hop strains and different combination of hops until we found that Mosaic was like, okay, this is consistently like
Pretty
the flavor
solid.
profile that we want. And then it took us about 200 batches of just doing Mosaic hop infusions over and over
That's
and
commitment.
over and over. So I'm really
Stoked-
proud of this one.
Stoked to try it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Every part of that was awesome. It was
you.
like
Yeah,
5
yeah.
stages right there. It was just smelling it, the very first sip, feeling the texture of it, the juiciness and the Mosaic
Yeah.
coming into play, and then the aftertaste is just, I'm getting more of the apple with the Mosaic. That is awesome, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a lot of those kind of like nice, light, fruity, floral notes without as much of the bitterness or astringency that you get with an IPA.
This is the best liquid I've had all day.
Cheers, let's have another sip.
Cheers.
Yeah.
What do you think about the beer scene and the whole beverage scene altogether in Teton Valley?
The thing that really resonated with us is like everyone that we reached out to was super welcoming. So, Grand Teton Brewing, Citizen 33, Roadhouse, Melvin, Snaker, like all of them helped us out with stuff. John over at Wildlife, I remember him like coming over here one afternoon, 2 weeks after we'd gotten our canning line because we couldn't figure out how to get it to work and cider was spraying everywhere. And so like everyone was super awesome about helping us out. I have the most fun when I'm trying a beer from this brewery and I'm trying a cider from here and I'm trying a Chocolina wine from Spain. And it's like, it's cool to like taste and try different things. We're just out in the middle of nowhere. Like that's kind of the beauty of Teton Valley and Jackson Hole is that we're isolated, we're out in these beautiful mountains. It's a little bit more difficult to get here, but that's kind of the thing that draws people in a lot of times. Or to have a couple Grand Tetons, have a couple Roadhouses, mix a High Point in there.
Thank
Cheers.
you for having me at Citizen 33 here in Teton Valley.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you. It's a destination place, so make yourself a destination brewery. The cool thing about working for a small brewery like this is finding those niches and being like, oh, I found this hole-in-the-wall brewery and they're cranking out some really amazing beer. Like, we don't have to have the big footprint like bigger breweries, but it keeps it fun, it keeps it creative, and that's the best part about it. This is the Teton Valley IPA.
It smells good.
It is 100% Idaho ingredients. We used Cashmere, Eldorado, and Triumph in that.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
Idaho grown.
Mill Creek Maibach.
Maibach, hell yeah.
It
Cheers
is
to that.
This thing's delicious.
it
Not
is,
everyone's brewing a Maibach.
one of my favorite styles to brew. One of the things I love about the brewing industry is like the camaraderie and like, especially living in a small town like this, like we have amazing brewers that we're all there to help each other out, and it brings me back to the old school days of like what it's all about. It's like, yo, like let's make something cool, let's make something unique.
Do you have like a 3 or an 8? You're like, we always have these, your flagships, your standards.
Yeah,
your
so we
core.
have
9 right now is our flagship.
9 flagship beers and then 7 seasonal rotations. It's a really cool, unique scene where it's like, I don't know, we're all in the same thing. We're like, we love to make great beers, but we love to get outside at the same time. So it's like, it's a cool like meeting place where we all just like, we're all just trying to do the same thing, make a lot of really great beer. And like, I mean, I want those people that come up here to have a great experience, enjoy the beer. I'm like, oh man, I went up here and I had this, went on this backpacking adventure, got done, came to this brewery and had an amazing beer, and like that's awesome.
That's very cool.
This was the old office to Teton Thai. So yeah, we basically like wrapped it in stainless, built this floor drain, which took like tons of attempts. Sorry, I keep getting in your way, dude.
That's exactly what I want too. Yeah, and there's a little bit more like body and
The day ended at Teton Thai Brewery, where I got to meet the brewer there as well, try some more excellent beers, get some really good food in us, and even go to Wildlife Brewing on the way out of town. Then it was back to Wyoming, but for me, I'd be hitchhiking to the Midwest next, on to Iowa, Minnesota. There's a lot more great beer all over the country, and I was on to the next great beer adventure. Let's get after it.